Well, it's Bokashi Day, and unless you're into that form of composting, it probably means nothing to you, but let me explain what it is that we do, how we do it, and why we do it. Yeah, stick around. Bokashi is a form of composting. It's done in an anaerobic fashion, meaning that you're composting in the absence of oxygen. The bucket itself has had food in it for probably now going on more than 2 months. Really doesn't smell all that bad because it's not like it's rotting. It's more like it's pickling. Yeah, it has kind of a tangy, funky smell, but more so in the vein of something that's being fermented rather than something that's rotting. Today's the day I'm going to turn one of my compost piles. It's up around 150 degrees. I'm going to incorporate this Bokashi into the middle of that pile so that it can start and really add a lot of biological diversity to my compost piles, which is really quite the goal when you're making compost, is to have it be as biodiverse as possible. This is primarily, again, for the people in my circle that might watch my videos, that might be interested in this sort of thing. Fully acknowledging that's a pretty small circle. And I'm not an expert in any of this stuff. It's kind of a learn as you go. You know, trying a lot of these different experiments and then actually having some success out of it. Here's the bag of sawdust inoculated with that lactobacillus bacteria. I made this about 5 months ago, and it smells actually better now than when I first made it. It's a little sweeter, but essentially I'm just keeping a weight in here to keep it weighted down to exclude as much oxygen as I can. That's just the substrate layer of the substrate, and then I'll go ahead and add my food scraps. Get as much air out and break it apart as much as possible. Add another layer of substrate over the top. Cover it up with my pad. Put the weight on it. Put the lid back on, and it's as easy as that. This has been sitting in my garage for probably, this particular bucket, at least 2 months. This secondary bucket contains the leachate or compost tea that has leached through the primary bucket, which has holes in the bottom, and I cut out a t-shirt which just acts as a filter for any of the particulate matter, and then the liquid leaches through, and then this can be put right directly into the compost pile as well. Yeah, so I've got another bucket that's got material in it that's probably 4 months old, and I'm going to go ahead and add that to my compost pile this morning, and yeah, begin the final stage of its decomposition. It's going to be this pile right here. I'm going to go ahead and temp it. Yeah, I've temped this from 3 different angles. All 3 have been in the thermophilic range, and it's been thermophilic for probably going on its 4th day now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it. We're sitting right at about 152 right here, and I'll show you how I'm going to incorporate that Bokashi in. Can you see all this good mycelium? You got the steam in here. It's very hot. It's decomposing nicely, and it smells. Yeah, it smells like it's on its way to becoming good soil. It's not very ammoniated, but that's very much what I'm looking for this pile to do. So I'm going to go ahead and move most of it, and then I'll start to incorporate in that Bokashi. You want to make sure that it's, you know, staying wet enough, not too wet. Should feel like a kind of a damp, wrung out sponge. Yes, I'm kind of making a bed right now for the Bokashi to sit up here. I'm adding some additional wood chips to kind of help soak up. I'll blend that in to kind of give me a little bit more carbon there to go with that high nitrogen Bokashi. And it's got everything in there from coffee grounds to fat to bones, chicken bones, Just stuff we didn't really want to feed to our chickens. You would think it would smell like rotting food, but it just does not. It just smells like something kind of fermented, because that's essentially what it is. Showing about 94 freshly turned, and I've got a bunch of wood chips, leaves, and biochar turned into that. So if I've done my homework correctly, this pile should heat back up into the thermophilic range when inside of a couple of days, and I hope to keep it there for probably 3 more days before I turn it yet again. Less than 24 hours since we just turned this pile, about 130 Fahrenheit. So we're well on our way to having this pile be hot again. Hope you all have a productive day. Thanks for watching. Hey girl. I'll get something to eat.